So what we're talking about this evening is illnesses and our bodies, not just our body's response to illness, but why we get ill, and looking at all the different reasons why we might be sick. It's not going to be definitive, it never can be, but it can give you some indications. And I also want to make sure that you understand that never is this any way a sort of criticism. And if you're a healer and you're using this information for healing, just always be very gentle about saying to people you're sick because it can come across a bit okay, so you just have to be a bit careful about it. Right, so let me share a screen. We'll go into my slideshow. Okay, everybody can hear me okay? If you have any problems, you can put something in the chat box, or you can put your digital hand up, because I can't see all of you. But anyway, just see what you can do if you need attention, okay? All right. So let's see. That there will be times through this through the session where a lot of times actually, where I'll say, does this apply to you? And if it applies to you, can you make a note to do something about it? Now, the reason I want you to write something down when you recognize something in yourself, I'm sure you would do anyway if you're making notes, but it's good to have a to-do list, a healing list. These are the things I need to address. And there's something else going on here as well. When you write something down that you're going to do something about, you're setting an intention. I set my intentions this morning with my driver awareness course, and all they made us write all the things that we were going to do to improve our driving, and it felt quite good actually to write it all down. And that's very similar to what we're going to be doing tonight. So it's anything that you identify with yourself, you can put a note, and then you might also think of people you know and people you're close to. You might get some insights for them as well, which you can share. But when you write down what you're going to change, what you're going to heal, you're actually setting a powerful intention. Some of the questions might need a bit of thinking about, and you might want to do them later. If you want to take a picture of the screen with your phone, that's perfectly okay. I'm not paranoid about copyrights and things. So if you feel you want to make a note of anything I've put up, please do. No problem to that at all. All right. So remember that if it's something you want to get rid of, so if you're wanting to write something you want to get rid of in the sense of releasing, you write it on scrap paper and burn it. If it's something you want to remember and keep as an insight, keep it, put it in your journal. All right, so I've come up with 6 reasons why you may have sickness or a disability. There may be others, but I think 6 is enough for one evening. And these 6 I'm going to go through in detail. So I'm just going to highlight them here, and then we'll go into more detail. So first one is a lack of care or respect for your physical body and its health, very often due to low self-esteem. In other words, you don't respect your body because you don't respect yourself. That's one, and that's quite a common one. And it's very, very common with people who are givers and pleasers, which means you're probably lurking right down underneath it, or got some karma or some guilt that you've brought in with you. So it's nothing to be ashamed of, but it's something to be aware of. Second one is something you genetically inherited from your mother, father, or grandparents. Some things jump a generation. I'm sure you've noticed that already. People say, oh, you're just like your grandmother, you're using exactly the same expressions and you do the same things. So you can jump a generation. It is, I've put genetically, but it's also possible to just pick up through habit, from programming, things that may come from a parent who's not your natural mother or father. I was brought up by a stepfather. I don't think I picked anything up negative from him. He was a very positive person. But I know people that do have this problem. If you're brought up by somebody who worries a lot, for example, that's a common one. Oh, you're a worrier. Oh, so was my mother. Yeah, so was my grandmother. You know, those sorts of genetic things. Third reason may be that you've deliberately taken on an illness or a disability that you are going to use as one of your life purposes to inspire others. There's nothing so powerful as using your own experience when you're helping other people or being a role model or inspiring people. And we look at that. That's quite a common situation. And it may be something that you hadn't thought about before, but you've actually got problems that you've overcome, even that you've learned so much from that other people get the benefit. But they're very often quite shocking things that you have to go through. But it could be, well, something you've decided to do, something you plan to do in this lifetime. Another, number 4, you have a problem that has come through a challenge that you've created yourself. Again, you've put it on your to-do list, your life purpose, but it's going to help you evolve. It's going to help you grow in some way through maybe being more compassionate to others who have also got disabilities or illness. You may have taken it on to overcome it, something that you've grown over and stronger from, and it's helped you evolve. I think quite a lot of mental illness comes into that category. The next one is scars and imprints from a previous lifetime. It's not unusual in healing for me to see something that's come through from a past where I see how someone died. And I don't see it quite so much now as at one time. I went through a whole spate of it where I could actually see fingerprints around people's throats where they've been strangled, or feel the scars where someone's been stabbed in the back. Those are etheric scars, really, and they come through with the body. So that can be also could be something you've brought forward from your soul journey as opposed from your genetic inheritance. And the one which is probably the one most talked about these days is the illness that's created by your thoughts and your emotions. And I guess every single one of us has got stuff caused by that. You know, fears that turn into actualities and so on. There's a lot been written about this. Louise Hay was the first one, I think, first person to really bring this to light, but there's a lot of work done on it. And now the scientists are jumping in on the act and everybody's proving it. So it's one that's very much prevalent in all of our lives. but I want to give attention to all of these. So let's start off with why would you not respect and care for yourself? Well, one of the reasons is you might not be aware that your body needs love and respect. And I'm taking this as I'm teaching you, or I'm sharing this with you, I would say, rather than teaching, but I know you will be, a lot of you be helping other people through this sort of thing. There are a lot of people who don't see the body as anything other than a bit of a nuisance or something to dress up and glamorize, or something to despise because it's not quite the right shape that everybody else thinks it should be, or you think it should be, I should say. And there's a big problem going on with teenagers at the moment, body image issues. I think any teenager that comes across in my sphere, I'm always getting them to think about their body as something more than just a physical shell. You may lack respect or care for your body, or you may not look after it properly because you're too tired and you're overwhelmed with what's going on in your life. And this can be something that comes and goes in your life. There could be times when you're really on it and you're doing your exercise, you're eating right, everything's going well, and you're up and strong. And then there'll be other times when you think, oh, I can't be bothered, pass me the donuts. You know, this could be something that you use food as a way of making you feel comfortable or loved. If you've been brought up by parents who are feeders, you know, if you're a good girl, you get something nice for tea, I'll give you some ice creams. And then you carry on that habit of treating yourself to sweet things when you're feeling a bit down. I think half the population of the country is a bit like that. Your heart might be closed. You might have had so much trauma that you've shut down to love. And that will mean that you're not going to love your body, you're not going to love yourself, and you're not going to love anything else around you. And the last one is, I've just touched on really, you don't like yourself very much, and you don't see any reason why you should be nice to yourself because you actually don't like what you are. If that's the case, any of those, put yourself on the healing list. It means you really, really do, need to get yourself some healing. Any one of those things needs healing because it's some damage come from some place that has left you with low self-esteem, or if you're overwhelmed, that probably might mean that you need to think about your lifestyle and what's going on, that you're so tired. You could be suffering from mental health problems. You could be suffering from long COVID or ME. But there are things you can take and do. I've just had a conversation with Debbie Atkinson. I don't know if anybody knows her. She does something called CKT, and she can check your body to see what it needs. And she's just been checking Tony for me. And my husband, he's been suffering from fatigue since he had very ill with COVID a year ago. And things that she's come up with quite interesting. If anybody needs some information about that, just email me and I'll send you what she's suggested to me, or WhatsApp me if you know my WhatsApp. Because some of the things she's come up with are quite good. And if anybody's really interested in that, I'll dig it out for you later. As for fatigue, dopamine was one of the things. Lack of dopamine. Okay. Right, just let's have a look at it from a spiritual perspective here. Something I realized a few years ago about your body and the spirit. It definitely is your two things. You're definitely two huge aspects to yourself, and they can be broken down into more aspects, but two main aspects are your body and your spirit. And when you're born, you have your spirit comes into your body, and that body is your home for the time you're here. And it's a very kind home. I mean, it gives your spirit a lodging place, and it gives you an opportunity to move around, to do all the exciting things your spirit wants to do, take on all the challenges that you've decided to take on. Well, think of it as a host. Would you treat your host badly when you go and visit someone? So why would you treat your body badly? Kicking it on when it's tired, saying, no, it's not, there's no way you can sit and rest now, you've got to get on, there's lots more to do, kicking and pushing your body harder and faster than it really wants to go. Quite a common problem, and I'm pretty much there on myself doing that one. Just remind yourself frequently that you are a divine and beautiful spirit visiting this planet to give love, find love, and to experience emotions so that you can evolve. That's what you're here for. That's your whole purpose of being here. Give love, find love, and experience emotions, which you can't do any of that off the earth plane. That's why you come here. Otherwise, why would you? If heaven is what they say it is, why would you come here? So you need to have something to see you through while you're here, and that's your body. So that, just allow yourself to think differently about your body. Think of it as your best friend. Think of it as something to love and nurture and be kind to. And it has a spirit. Now, this is something I learned fairly recently, a few years ago. Your body has an elemental spirit, just the same as a tree has a spirit, as a plant has a spirit. It's an elemental spirit. That means it hasn't got its own soul. So it's a simple spirit as such, but it is a spirit. And that's why, I'm absolutely sure that's why humans are so very keen to bury the body and give it and treat and we're always so careful to make sure we recover bodies and look after bodies when people die in a disaster, because there's an intuitive knowingness that there's a spirit in that body too. So apart from the soul, which then goes on back and joins our higher self and our monad, there is this other spirit, which is the elemental spirit of the body. And elementals, like everything in nature, respond well to respect, to being acknowledged, to being nurtured and loved. We are thinking of that all the time these days, how we look after nature. We are evolving, and as we evolve as a mass of people, as humankind, we're getting more aware of the importance of looking after nature. At the same time, we should be thinking of the same way about our bodies. So you could even just imagine what your spirit looks like. I did that. I imagined it was walking beside me, and I began to have some sort of relationship with my body in a different way then. I started to see it in a very different light. So, of course, the classic things for looking after your body is good food that suits you. don't want to be prescriptive about what's good food. All food is good because all food has calories, and you need calories for energy so your body can operate with some vigor. Of course, some food is better for you than others, and I'm not going to lecture on that. Exercise of any kind is good. Again, find the one that suits you, one that makes you feel, oh good, I want to do that. Not, oh, I've got to go to the gym and lift weights. Ugh. Try and find an exercise that really makes you get excited. Find ways to release stress. I went to a Kundalini yoga class last night, and this is something that came up, this whole thing about releasing stress. I'm going to be sharing a healing process with you later, which is good for clearing stress, but just deep breathing is very good for that as well. And it came up again, funnily enough, on my driver awareness course today. They were saying that most accidents are caused when people are stressed, whether they're running late or they've got other things on their mind. So how important it is for us to control that stress factor. And one of them, again, came up with to breathe, deep breathing. So whenever you start to feel yourself getting a bit panicky, deep breathing. And perhaps a glass of wine. It's amazing what that can do. Don't overwork or push your body too hard. Something we tend to do when we're younger, I guess, is to go at life full pelt and burn the candle at both ends. But this is something that people, a lot of people I know, pushing themselves all the time, trying to jam too much into a day. I must admit, I'm a bit guilty of that myself. And I've, to stop myself doing it, we have in my diary, I have deliberately days off. I mark off days I'm not going to work. Because if I didn't, I would just plow on all the way through. So it takes a bit of planning, I think, to make sure you don't overdo it. Yeah, I think you probably all know whether you're doing that or not. So I thought it'd be a good idea now for us to have a little meditation. It's nice to have one at the beginning of the course. So I'm going to take you through a meditation. And the intention is for you to connect to the spirit of your body. Now, if you don't see anything, please don't worry. Some people are better at visualizing things than others. But I want you to have the sense of it, just to recognize that it's there. So just go with this and just allow yourself to open up to the understanding that your body has this beautiful, beautiful spirit, which all it wants to do is support you and love you and cherish your spirit, your soul. Okay. And help you on your journey through earth. So drop your shoulders and relax. Drop your shoulders down, breathe in deeply 4 times, and allow yourself to cut the cords to everything in your life, all your everyday life, problems, pressures. And if necessary, imagine yourself going to your front door and just pushing them all on the doorstep and closing the door on them. I surround us all in the blue flame of Archangel Michael, and the energy is sealed and protected. I surround you with a golden star tetrahedron, beautiful golden pyramids, spinning, spinning to create a golden light body around you. And this golden light body extracts the pressures and pains, the worries and the cares, the thought forms of concern that surround you and fill your aura. Releasing all negative energies from your aura right now, right now, right now. Spinning them and spinning them up to the light. I call in the violet flame of Saint Germain. This beautiful violet flame dissolves other people's hooks and dependencies on you and sets you free to stand clear in positive energies right now, right now, right now. I just want you now to allow yourself to recognize and acknowledge the spirit of your body. Put your hand on your heart and ask your body to show the spirit and see it stepping out in front of you now, looking up to you in whatever form suits you. It can be in a form of an animal if you like, if that makes you feel connected. Doesn't matter what form it takes. And then just say to this beautiful spirit a big thank you. Show your gratitude for everything it does. Thank your spirit for sustaining you, for taking the stress that you pass through it every day. Thank it for giving you the energy to take on all those things that you've planned to do in this lifetime. Show your love. Thank it for bringing you through any illnesses you've gone through recently. And ask it what you need to do to make its life easier. How does the spirit of your body want to be treated? What does it want from you? What can you change to make it feel happier? I fill the spirit of your body with love and light. Right now, right now, right now. With gratitude and love. Calling in blessings for your body. Right now, right now, right now. Breathe in the love. Relax and let the tension leave your body. And see the spirit of your body as a partner, your friend, your confidant, your supporter. And make a promise to treat your body with love, care, and nurture from this moment on. Gently, gently come back into the room when you're ready. Does anybody want to share anything they experienced there? Just unplug yourself if you do. Unmute yourself, I mean.
Yes, Anne, I would like to share what I got through in the meditation.
Okay, Christina.
Yeah. When I pictured my spirit in front of me, it was a lot smaller than me, but it appeared sort of white and translucent to me with no features. It was featureless. I started rocking as well, sideways and frontwards. Don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, a lot of people do that when they're healing.
Yeah, the rocking, and we shook hands.
Oh.
And he said, I'm saying he.
Okay.
That making sense. The subjective sort of hearing said, I love you. So I think I'm a bit hard on myself. You know.
Yeah.
In our experiences in when we get things wrong with us, you know. So I think that's what he's trying to say. I'm saying he. I need to say he for some reason. I don't know why.
Well, there you are. Maybe you get on better with men. You never know. Well, thank you, Christina. Okay.
Yeah, it was lovely that. Yeah, beautiful.
Bless you. Anybody else got anything they want to share? Siobhan.
Oh, hi, Anne. I didn't specifically see anything. I tend to not to within like the constraints of a you know, when I think we talked about it before, when there's a group I tend to just kind of
that's right, yeah,
freeze on visuals, but I think to me just the thought of a visual, I kind of imagined it as my one of my power animals. I've got a few different ones, but I chose a fox, and that it kind of makes you relate to it if you've got a visual, or for me anyway. Like,
yeah, no,
yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Siobhan. Okay, so are you all feeling that you're a little bit kinder towards your bodies now?
Yes, yeah. I think I didn't realise before. So
No.
we always think about other people and we don't think about our self-love, do we? You know.
Oh, that's half the problem, isn't it?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. So let's move on.
And Emma's put in the chat that she can share.
Okay, thank you. Yes, please, Emma.
Hi.
Hi, Emma.
So I don't have to, it's because I mean there's lovely comments from everybody else. It was just is it okay to?
Please do.
Okay, I'll try and keep it quick then. Because it's very hard to keep it quick sometimes, isn't it?
No.
It was incredible. So initially I thought, oh, is this going to be my higher self? Absolutely not. So my higher self is completely different. And the spirit came out in front of me, as you said, it comes out in front of you. And I saw it as a shapeshifter. So it changed. Interesting, the other lady said it was smaller. Mine was smaller as well. Like you almost imagine it should have been the same size, but it wasn't, it was smaller. And it was almost like it was the cells of my body.
Wow.
And they were all working and changing shapes. So sometimes they were animals like otters, sometimes they were sort of geometric shapes. Absolutely amazing. I never really thought about that before.
Oh, bless you. That's great. Yes, mine's small, and it sometimes goes small and furry when it needs sort of the nurturing. It does change, and I think when you said about the cells, that's fantastic, because when we do healing and we connect to the body, we need to break it down to cellular level to do the healing properly. I think that's my view anyway. And whenever I do healing for any physical healing, I always relate to the spirit of the body, and and the healing went into a completely different level as soon as I did that. So that's why I wanted to share that. So thank you very much, Emma. That's fantastic. Good, good. Well, we're doing well. Fantastic. Let's move on now to the next one, which is inherited illnesses. So why? Why would you have inherited illnesses? Because after all, you've chosen your parents, and when you choose your parents, you choose their genes. So very often, the reason you have chosen a parent, if they've got a particular illness or weakness, is that you're going to deliberately take on that as part of your life purpose. So something you would take on that would enhance your life in some way. And I just wondered if you want to think about your own situation. What have you taken on physically or mentally from your parents? And has it affected your life? And can you learn anything from this, from your parents? I mean, people are very much aware now, if their fathers and mothers have got heart problems, that they've got to be particularly aware of looking after their heart. That's one thing that comes instantly to mind. My husband's family have got a lot of mental illness in the family, and those in the younger generations who've got it must have chosen it. And it's become a big challenge for them. So what have you inherited from your parents or your grandparents? And what has it taught you? Has it given you anything? Okay, Steve?
Yes, and I'm obviously talking about inheritance, like something genetically, like parents in the cells and everything. But I'm thinking also lifestyle of my parents, like their well, I'll give you an example, which some of you might know. My parents were, because of World War II, they had to be very frugal.
Yes.
They do. And I've inherited that. I'm very cautious, not just with money, but making decisions, anything. And a bit like what Tony is, like with the heating. I don't put the heating on.
No.
because I don't, as a man, I'm just saying, anyway, the point I'm getting at, I've inherited that because I grew up with a coal fire and you had to make it keep working at it. Anyway, it's like with anything, resources, money, or making decisions, frugal, make do, you know.
Yeah, and I don't think I would imagine you consider that's quite a good thing for you as well.
It's good, but it's sometimes I can be too frugal. And whereas I've got things, I've got assets, I've got finances, I've got help, I've got things, but I can see where it's a word. It's a type of behavioural inheritance rather than genetic.
Absolutely. Well, that's just as much as common thing as is the physical situation.
What is it? They went through war, rations in the 50s and all the rest of it.
Well, they would.
You know.
And of course, that again, and we're coming to that later, the way you think will affect your body as well. So that there is always going to be a spin-off for your physical state with the way you think. So, yeah, but that's a good one to think about. And also look at it and see whether it serves you. Does it serve you? So if it doesn't serve you, you know where it comes from. Maybe you can start to change a little bit and just be a little bit kinder to yourself. Like, you need to get yourself one of those rugs that I was talking about. Those heated rugs over your legs would stop your legs hurting as much as they do, Steve. Okay, so the thing is, you bought that on yourself. Like I say, and there will be a reason. So look for the positives, look for what it's taught you, look for what the challenges have been. And anything, the one thing that you want to do above all else is to not blame mum and dad, because whatever horror stories you've had from your childhood, and I know some of you have had some pretty horrible ones, they've all been there to do something for you. And the sooner you'll know individually what it's done for you. And just hold on to that, because otherwise you become a victim. And that's the last thing you want to be, because that piles on the agony. Has anybody got any questions they want to ask before we move on from this one? Okay. Go back to my, okay. See what else we can bring up now. So this whole question of, have you taken on the problem? Have you taken on on one that could have been a genetic problem to help others? It could well be. If you're a therapist or a teacher or somebody who helps others in any way whatsoever, there's a good chance that some of the things that you've learned that inspired you to help others, or that you use to inspire others, comes from the things that you've gone through physically and mentally. And we must always put the mental illness in there with the physical as well. So it's part of your life purpose and your plan. I mean, obvious ones are people like, I think of Ellie Simmons, the swimmer. I mean, she's taken on dwarfism. I mean, what a challenge. And yet, what an inspiration she is. I think she's on Strictly Come Dancing at the moment. And that's just like an amazing thing. She's so brave. And you can't help but be inspired by her. And everybody that steps forward with an injury or a disability, puts themselves in the public eye, they definitely have done it with the idea of helping those who are struggling. So look back over your life. I realized at one time that there were so many things that I'd gone through that I hadn't really thought of gone through a difficult life particularly, but you know, I realized that I'd had cancer at an early stage, but it was cancer. I had something that stopped me from having children. Well, before that, I had a miscarriage through German measles that stopped the only time I was pregnant. And then I had a problem that stopped me having children. So that was interesting. Of course, a difficult marriage, and brought up by my father left when I was born. There's a lot of things like that, which I never considered particularly terrible, but they've all been enough to make me understand and have an empathy with people, and that's really useful when you're healing, but it's also useful in life generally. So all the things that have gone on, you may be finding they've just given you a kit bag of goodies that you can use to help others. And that when you're helping others, of course, you're helping yourself because you're feeling good about life. It makes you feel fulfilled. So sometimes these terrible things are there, well, they're always there for a reason and always there for a purpose. Right. Just remember that your experiences are lessons. Your lessons could give you growth. And if your lesson is not learned, the challenge continues. And the challenges themselves can leave imprints and scars, which is what we often end up having to heal. So every experience you have gives you an opportunity to grow. If you don't use it as an opportunity, but you see it as a hardship, a disadvantage, an unfairness, then the challenge will continue. And the challenges themselves can leave you scarred. And it's those scars and imprints which we spend our time healing. And often we don't start until we're over 40. And the wounds and scars that you go through can leave you physically affected. Lower your energy, they create illnesses. So a lot of the illnesses we are dealing with are as a result of the things we've gone through in our life.
So, sorry, Anne, what did you just say about over 40?
40.
Oh,
When we're
oh,
over
so the
40 years old.
understanding.
Yes. It isn't until
Thank you,
you're over
Emma.
40
Yeah.
that you decide that it's time to do some healing for it, realizing what it is. Have you got any conditions that have been created by your life experiences? You may have things like diabetes, you may have ME, you may have polymyalgias, which I think are really always pain that you've internalized. I've added a few more here. People have been on drugs of any kind. A lot of medical drugs, of course, can have have repercussions. You're overworked to the point where your body is reflecting that. You could have
Yes.
childbirth and accidents. And Steve, I think your legs are a problem was caused from such a thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then think about, are these experiences related to being lessons for you to learn? Keep asking yourself that all the time. What can I learn from this? What can I learn from it? And it's like a mantra. whenever I've had anything wrong with me, I deal with it at the time, and you can't always do it when you're really sick. You're not going to sit there, as they're doing an operation. What's this all about? What am I learning here? But afterwards, think, what was that about? Why did that occur? Why have I got that particular illness? Why did that accident occur? I know when I've shared this with some of you before, but when I broke my ankle, all I was worried about was the pain initially, of course. But once that was over and it was all under control and being fixed, I just sat there thinking, I was lucky I was on holiday, and it was we had a house in Cyprus at the time, and I was sitting there out on the back patio with my foot up in plaster, and I'm thinking, what was this about? And it was very clear, and it came to me very quickly. I didn't have to meditate very deeply to realize that something had to break. Something had to break because I was doing work that was just pushing me further and further away from what I wanted to do in my heart, and more what I felt was duty. If you're not following what your heart wants, you're going against your body. You're going against your spirit. And as soon as I realized that, I mean, I got over it fairly quickly, but it didn't take me long to work it out. And then I changed. And if I hadn't changed, I think I probably would have broken something else. Something else would have had to stop me in my tracks because I needed to be stopped. And your higher self's in charge of all that. The higher self, the spirit of your body collude, and you will end up with something wrong. How many of you get ill just as you go on holiday? This happens over and over. So that illness is there to stop you from working. Siobhan, you had some flu recently, and I pretty felt that was something to stop you in your tracks.
Yeah, definitely, because I haven't been giving myself any rest at all, and I just wondered what you thought in respect to, if you're helping somebody, I feel like I'm helping my dad, and I'm doing too much, and I'm having problems with my feet because of it. I feel a bit stuck with it, and to kind of the stress is causing me illness because I'm not giving myself any space. It's like
and one of the things, if you can't see a way out of it, because I know that's part of your problem, is to ask for help from the angels and from the masters and whoever you want to speak to, or God directly, or Jesus, whoever it relates for you. Ask for help.
Thank you.
Say, I am overwhelmed, I cannot manage, please send help. That's the bit we often forget. We often forget to ask for that help, and that's really important. That in itself, very often, that you don't ask for help. You think you have to carry on carrying your father's situation and everything else.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, it's got quite out of hand. Yeah,
that would be your lesson, really. Not that you're not going to help your dad, but find some other help. And if you can't find it physically yourself by getting your carers in, ask for help. It always works. Every time I've asked for help, I always get it. But the thing is, I often forget to ask. Steve.
Thank you.
Well, you just said, Anne, about obviously ask for help always and trying to let go. But as you know, with me, because it's stuck stagnant energy in my legs. But I'm thinking, from an early age, my late father had post-stress disorder from World War II. He saw a lot of action, and like a lot of other people, still goes on. But in them days, he didn't know, and he was an alcoholic. He just used to sort of just numb out. And I remember even a kid was like next week, Remembrance Sunday, I still get emotional because I remember seeing him crying.
Of course.
Because he saw a lot nightmares. But anyway, as a little kid, I grew up with all that, but it suppressed it. So anyway, what I'm saying is, what I'm trying to share is this is going on, but it's not what I really am. It's just, there's just patterns which happened in early life. And here I am. So yeah, I knew I've done a lot of inner child work, and I've let it go, but it's still part
Well,
of, it still comes up with inheritance, but I don't know, it's also,
well, it is inheritance, and what we can do later on, I've got something I've included which might help you, which is healing your ancestry.
yep, well, that's, yeah.
And it can be amazing what you can heal, because you're healing the soul of your father when you do the healing of your ancestry, but you're also healing what you're inheriting. So that might be a way. That might be a way forward for you. I'll be sharing that with you just now.
Okay. Well, just because it's like, you know, because a lot of these, I mean, you know, men are still doing battles with, you know, on not anything. Post said it's now we're getting more awareness of this. But I think this is why also I think it's so important to get this out there in the world rather than it being sort of pushed to one side.
Absolutely.
Which is, so anyway, thank you.
Yeah, well, thank you for sharing, Steve. These imprints, when we come a bit later, we're going to talk about healing, and it's these scars that we're going to be focusing our healing on. Whether they've reached the physical level or they're still in the mental and emotional level. They're all linked together. So as one part of you suffers, so does the whole of you suffer. So another reason was that we mentioned was the past life trauma. Something you bring in from your past life comes up all the time when I'm doing the healing. It's like a pattern that you have a wounding in one lifetime and you have some issues in one lifetime. It might be something on the physical level, it might be something on the emotional level, but of course the emotions affect the physical. So we need to look to find all these things. So with the past life trauma, if you're not able to get back and see your own past lives, it's useful to get to a healer. Now, I think there's a few healers on the list here, but I've got a list of healers. Of course, I do healing as well. But to find past life is sometimes easier to get someone else to help you. The things that come through, if you have a violent death, that can leave its mark. It can leave you with a fear, a lot of fears. Now, fears in themselves, well, again, can make you sick. So you've got the double whammy here. You can have had the impact on your etheric body from the past, but it also can leave an emotional imprint. So we're dealing with it on both levels. It leaves you with weaknesses in your body that you can't explain. It can be, and as you heal the emotions, you can heal the scars, the physical scars as well. So they're all linked together. So as far as past life's concerned, has anybody here done past life regressions?
I have, Anne.
Yeah, very helpful, isn't it, Steve?
Well, yeah, I mean, I've done a couple with you.
Yeah, that's true.
But I've done and others. I look for patterns and I can see,
Yes.
yeah.
And that's it. You can see the pattern. You can see that this has happened over and over again. This is the lifetime to change it. Also, it makes you understand. And I think when you understand why you've got a problem, it really does. It's 90% of the healing of it is the understanding of it. So what I intend to do, we might actually do a past life regression workshop soon, but I think I'd have to do that one physically. I don't know how I can do that one online. But I'm going to take you into meditation now for you to see. Now, I want you to think of any part of you or any issue that you've got And I think probably relating it to a fear is probably a good way to connect to this, because you're not going to be able to know what body problems come from past lives, but the fear that goes with it, well, you will be able to. Think of a fear. Everybody think of a fear that they have that they don't understand why they've got it. Mine was fear of horses, and I don't know where that came. I found out where it came from eventually through past life regression. Has everybody got a fear that they can think of? Now you look as if you're cold up there in Castleford. Everybody think of a fear. Okay, right, so I'm going to now just take you, just close your eyes and relax. Drop your shoulders. Don't worry, I'm going to take you down into your past lives, and we're going to take you to see the cause of a fear or a physical problem that has come from a past life. So you're surrounded by the blue flame. I call in your guides and angels to be with you. And I want you to imagine that you're standing in front of a lift. You press the button for the lift to come. The lift comes, you step inside the lift, and it goes down, 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 down. Now it's going to go down 10 floors, deep, deep, deeper and deeper. Down, 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 down. And as it goes down, it's going down into your past. Going down now, down, down, stops at the bottom. And you step out of the lift into a beautiful corridor, beautifully lit, thick carpet under your feet. And on either side of the corridor, there are doors. And each of these doors leads you to a past life. Now hold your intention, and I'm sending you now to a door that will open up and give you an insight into a problem that you have in your life at present. You can hold that thought of it being a physical problem or a fear. And then walk down the corridor, and one of the doors will open. And when the door opens, it will show you a video of that past life. You don't need to go into that past life. I just want you to see the video of it. There's a screen shining with a video of what happened in your past life. And if you don't like the video, shut the door and come back up in the lift. If you watch it, understand what's happening. And when you've seen enough, you go to the end of the corridor where there's a healing room. And in the room, you will be healed by the angels. I'm sending light and healing now to you in that past life and to you in this lifetime. We're healing wounds of that past life. Healing now, right now, right now. And healing the impact on you in this lifetime. Right now, right now. Releasing the fears, releasing the pain. Letting go of the emotion. Healing now, right now, right now. Speaking to the spirit of your body, I ask the spirit of your body to release the pain, to release the imprint. Right now, right now, right now. Your body releases the pain and the imprint right now. Give yourself a big hug. Then come up in the lift back to the room. Don't worry if you didn't see anything. It's not always easy. Any impression that you have or anything, let's make a note of it. Okay, does anybody want to share anything that they experienced?
Yes, please, Anne.
Okay.
Can I talk, Anne?
Yes, please do.
Oh, sorry. I'm not used to any of this. I don't really do these Zoom things. Yeah, it's when I went down into the lift, I came out and did as, you know, I pictured the doors. But I went in door number 2, but when I saw the screen, it was just black. But what I noticed was the ocean waves in front of me. So there was water. Now, I am a water sign. I'm an Aquarian. If that's anything to do with that, I don't know. I saw that, and I came out when you mentioned about going into the healing room, went down into there, and I saw nuns with white habits wearing those, and they were brushing down my arms and covered my shoulders with a garment, you know, a blanket or whatever. And then they started washing my feet. Then they were dried, and it just felt so relaxing. But at the end of it, when I came out and that was over, I came back up in the lift. My heart area, I just felt so relaxed. It was like relieved.
Good. Well done.
But this is, I think, good for me because I have a heart arrhythmia, and it's been affecting, the palpitations been affecting. So the calmness of it is I felt a release of that.
Well
You know.
done, Christina. That was your intention to heal, you see. That's what,
Yeah.
well done,
Yeah.
sweetheart. Thank you.
Yeah.
Has anybody else got anything they want to share? You all right, Marcia?
Mhm.
Anybody else got anything they want to? Steve, did you put your hand up?
Yeah. Yeah. Can I have two aspects of experience? First one, I saw a zebra out on a plane, so I presumed Africa, and then I see this Zulu dancing very sort of very primal and angry sort of dance, and it's very tribal but very open space. And I thought, I don't know, but I just experienced that, that's what I can say. And then as we sort of, I felt it's fading, and the next moment I pictured in my mind like a time of when not priests but people clergy used to wear wigs
Yes,
and
yes,
things, and it was like and as if I was being told off or being ordered or something
right.
like a judge would be. I was being, and I felt as if like following orders, or I was being told off or being commanded what to do, and then that faded, and then it was time to get back in the lift. So what can I say, Anne? From
Well, you just got to say
zebras
you
and
saw what you
Zulus,
needed to see.
well, that's all I can say.
Yeah, well, that's what you needed to see. You just have to trust that it could have been a past life touch, and it will kick off something else. Very often when we do past life regressions, you start off in a regression and then it carries on in your dreams afterwards and thoughts come in. So just see what comes up. I don't quite know what the zebra was. We don't know. It's a bit like translating dreams. But
Nadine.
yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Steve, thank you. Okay. All right, so we're now going to move on. If anybody else hasn't got anything else to share.
Just plug my phone in.
She's exhausted there. Someone's exhausted. I think that was Emma. Okay. Okay. So now I want to look at the situation that was often the most cited cause of our problems, of physical problems, is the fact that the connection between our mind, our spiritual energy, our body is so powerful and so strong that when we have negative thoughts and difficult emotions, that it starts to affect our physical body and our health. And I think we're all aware of that now. I mean, it's spoken about. So every single thought you have, every single emotion you hold affects your physical body. And I guess at the end of the day, it's going to all come down to being able to control your mind and controlling your emotions, or not so much controlling them, but managing them and getting them to work for you and not against you. Mainly with emotions, it's about expressing them and not holding them in. Like Steve's dad, he held his emotions in, and very often the case in the First and Second World War, people coming away from horrendous situations were never given the opportunity to express it. And they didn't want to harm their families by telling them what they saw, so they kept it to themselves. So their illnesses, which hit them as time went on, are nearly all related to that. We are now in a more enlightened era, I hope, and we are aware of the fact that our thoughts affect our physical state. And it will affect your happiness, your acceptance, your ability to love, your sense of security, belonging, and being loved, being respected and appreciated. Every time you think negatively about yourself, you're harming yourself. And every single cell of your body is affected. I personally think quite a lot of cancers are caused by negative thoughts and negative thinking. And I don't mean bad thoughts. I don't mean like horrible thoughts that you want to do somebody in or anything. I'm talking about the way you feel about yourself and your life. So let's just look at a few. If you're feeling frustrated, angry, resentful, depressed, unloved, ashamed, or stressed, all those are very, very heavy energy feelings. And if you think about yourself as being unlovable, worthless, useless, guilty, insecure, disrespected, or a failure, any of those and many more, all of those are toxic thoughts, and they create toxic energy within you. So do you have any? Make a note of anything you have, just to acknowledging it, not acknowledge what negative thoughts you hold, and are they affecting your health? Negative thoughts and feelings about yourself or your life. I actually think that every single person is absolutely perfect for what they've come to do in this life. Whatever your body is, whatever it looks like, whatever your face looks like, whatever skills you have, whatever gifts you have, whatever gifts you seem to lack, it's all planned for what you're here to do and what you're here to learn and what you're here to give to others. It isn't about finding fault in ourselves at all. That's not what we're here for, ever. So I'm just going to go through some of the conditions that come from certain thought patterns and thought patterns, I guess, are probably the best thing, and the emotions attached. Headaches are caused by worry and stress. And what happens is negative thoughts of I'm not going to get this done in time, I'm not good enough, or am I doing this wrong, or I should be doing something else, all those sorts of, and will I have enough money to manage, or will I be able to do what I'm supposed to do, etc., etc. All those sort of worries, they create thought forms around your head, and those thought forms sit heavy energy, and they absolutely cause headaches. Digestive problems, again, IBS, acid stomach, come from worry and stress. You push your worries down into your stomach and into your bowels, and you end up with a stomach problem, a digestive problem. So common, so common. The liver holds anger and frustration. Broken legs, bones, torn ligaments, all caused by fear of moving forward. Something in you needs to change so that you can move forward. have to accept, the big word, acceptance, acceptance, acceptance. Accept who you are instead of finding fault with who you are. Diabetes, another one is caused by low self-esteem and not seeing the sweetness of yourself. Not enough sweetness in your life. I think it's nearly always about not seeing the sweetness within you. Arthritis. I come from a family of arthritics, and that's the genetics that have been passed down to me. And when I read Louise Hay's book years ago, first thing I turned to was arthritis. And there it was, self-criticism. And I know that that was a big thing in my family. Always finding fault in themselves, not accepting who they were. So I've done my best to do a bit more accepting, and I managed to keep arthritis at bay. I'm really quite, I went through one phase when it was really, I could hardly walk at one point. I changed my diet and I changed my thinking, and that really did the trick. So write down what illness you think you have created. I've got a list of them. I've got Debbie Shapiro's book here. So if anybody wants to know what is the thinking behind their major physical problem, I suggest you could pop it in the chat box. Let me see. Thanks. You know what your problem is, Steve, don't you? What's the thinking? 129 next. Just looking at. Anything to do with knees, legs, ankles, it's all about moving forward.
Oh,
The legs are responsible for your movement in the world, the direction you're taking, and your ability to stand, walk, run, dance, and move. The legs carry you forward in life, moving you through the world.
that's interesting, Anne, because as you know, I'm stagnant in that area.
Yes. So I know it's all related, isn't it, Steve?
Yeah. Oh,
You
yes.
feel that you can't move forward. I think you're moving forward and you don't realize it. That's my feeling about it.
Okay, Anne.
Undeveloped
you.
or weak legs. Do you feel unsure of your place in the world? Do you feel overwhelmed by worldly issues? Do you find it hard to be alone? Is there a fear of commitment?
Hmm.
The questions that Debbie Shapiro throws up on Megs. Migraine.
Okay.
Somebody's Melanie wants to know about migraines. I think, see what she says about migraines. Migraine headaches, page 160. It's a really good book to have. Louise Hay's books are good too. Causes fear of failure. Migraine. Fear is often due to having high expectations of yourself and the fear of not being able to meet these expectations. Where do the expectations come from? Are they from your parents? It's also about keeping tight control over yourself. This is exactly what my friend Tessie's got. She has migraines all the time and she's really hard on herself. Always.
I can't disagree with any of that.
Bless your heart. Breathe and relax and let go control. That's what she says. And repression of feelings is another one. So you're not expressing. If you can't express your feelings to other people, perhaps writing it down might help, Mel. Just write down everything you feel and burn it. There's a lot of it stuff held in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bless you. Yeah, I think that's the big energy flow and expression of things. Reproductive issues. Reproduction. Let's just see what it says about reproduction. Let's see, does it come under women's stuff? No.
And I'm thinking, is this,
126. Sorry.
is this, no, I'm just thinking, is this what we've created, or is this what our soul has incarnated to experience?
Definitely.
Yeah, because when you said about,
Yes, don't blame yourself. Just know that this is an experience you're going through, and this is something to gain from it.
okay, yeah, because it's like what you said with me, the bit about, oh God, I can't remember now, something about the going achievement, something I've got to be done in this life, something it's got to be done, but I keep sabotaging myself along the way, and I'm thinking, oh no, not again.
Well,
I think this is
I think you're harsh on yourself, quite honestly.
possibly. Okay.
I think you're doing a lot more than you realise you're doing. I think the thing is, we have this stereotype of what we feel we ought to do as a light worker, and if your way of doing it might be a different way.
Maybe, yeah.
I know one of my clients, she does everything at night. I mean, I've tapped into it, and she's crazy busy at night, out on the etheric planes, doing light and whatever. And she's all the time said, I don't do anything. I said, oh, but you do. All right, I'm trying to find this reproductive. Oh, yeah. No, testicle. She's not a testicle. Right, okay. All right. There's a lot here about this. I think you need to get this book. Vagina and cervix, body, mind, breasts, candida and thrush, ovaries, the womb. There's too much here for me to share all this about the reproductive. Postnatal depression. There's a lot of it. Are you at ease with your sexuality? If not, what do you find difficult? Do I respect and feel comfortable with my sexual preferences? Do I enjoy myself sexually? Can I voice my needs? No, I don't think. Infertility. Infertility can be caused by making a vow never to have a child. I'm sorry, I can't do my Anna, unless I suggest you get the book. Anna, where's Anna? Okay, Anna, I'm sorry, I can't. There's such a big section on it. It might be, it depends which sort of reproductive issues I think it is. Sometimes, for myself, I felt that I'm very relaxed about not having ever had any children. And I think that I've got lots of late young women and well, mainly women out there that I feel like are my daughters, like goddaughters, I call them. So it works one way or the other. Have you got a book? Miss Macy, are you looking up something in the book for us?
Weirdly, I've got the Louise Hay book as well. I've got the Deborah Shapiro book as well, but it's just on my table right here because we're looking at it over the weekend.
How interesting. What does it say about women?
Well, I'm looking at female problems about denial of the self and rejecting femininity and rejection of the feminine principle. And I do remember having really bad menstrual issues, and it was basically about, it really was about me not embracing my femininity and womanhood.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah.
I had the same thing, and I agree with that. And I also think that mine was a bit past life stuff. So, you know, suffering as a woman in a past life. So you're scarred with the thought of being a woman. So
Yeah, that was actually related to the past life thing that I just saw. And I think that there are multiple layers of it because I've had childhood trauma related to that too. So I'm just trying to like find the like
the key.
I guess core or like
Yeah.
there's so much there.
Yeah. I think yours is past life. I think a good past life regression will take you and show you a lot of it. Abuse. And I wish that you, and a sort of a wish that you weren't a woman because of what being a woman had meant to you in that past life. That's what I'm picking up, Anna. So having a vow to love yourself as a woman and to heal that past life and bring that woman who was abused in the past life back into this lifetime and love her. So that aspect of you that was damaged, bring her in and love her. It can be very powerful to do that. Okay. So what can you do to change the way you think? Mantras are good. You know, one of the things that I really, really believe in is that you do what makes your heart feel good. So it doesn't stop you doing helping people, but it means you help people from your heart, not from duty. It's a fundamental that everything that you do is something that makes you feel good around your heart. So positive mantras about yourself, about how you're going to move forward. Forgive yourself if you're carrying guilt. And that guilt may come from a previous lifetime as well, and you don't always know it. But everything changes with your intention. So once you have set the intention of changing your attitudes, like the intention that I'm going to be relaxed about where I go forward, my intention is that I will let go all the barriers and limits, and I will do what I feel I want to do, not what I feel I ought to do, not what other people feel I ought to do. And I'm certainly going to step through all the fears that I have. Stepping through your fear. If you fear it, do it. Boy, does that make you feel good. From the smallest thing to the biggest thing. I had a client the other day, she was terrified of, not terrified, but she was scared of her creativity and she can't create anything. I said, you need, for your energy to flow, you need to do something creative in your life. Everybody needs to do something creative. Whatever that might be. It doesn't have to be anything fancy and clever art or anything like that, but just something creative, cooking, doing a garden, anything you can do that you create something new from. The energies that flow through you when you do that are incredible, and they will lift your spirit. They're healing, hugely healing, and they make you feel good about yourself. And this young woman had said, oh, I can't paint or draw. I said, yes, you can. You go away and do it. That's your homework. And she sent me some pictures that she'd done the other day. And she said, I feel amazing. And she'd done some fabulous pictures, very simple, one-line drawings. They looked amazing. And she was so thrilled with herself. So whatever. Are you scared to speak up? Do it. See what happens when you speak up. It can be incredible. You think that people will hate you if you say what you feel about them or some truth that you have to share, but you might be surprised. People are much more accepting, especially when it comes from your heart and when it's the truth. So if there are things to be healed, get on with the healing. And I don't think we're going to have time to go through a healing process, but keep asking yourself, what is my body telling me? What can I change? What do I need to change? So I'm going to skip through the healing process because I think most of you know how to do healing. I'm going to take you through to some symbols that you can use, which you can use for healing your body, and it heals all levels. This is the healing symbol. When you draw this symbol, the energies flow through your hands. So by drawing the symbol 3 times, the energies flow through your hands, and then you can put your hands wherever you need it on your body. If you're doing it for somebody else, make sure you protect yourself first, and you can use above or on the body. But for yourself, put your hands wherever you need it. You're always going to need it on your heart, and you're always going to need it on your solar plexus, but you have other places as well. That is an infallible way of bringing energy through. On your heart center and your solar plexus. Those energies are the highest frequency of love, and that will heal your body, the spirit, your mind, your imprints, everything. Because your intention is there. It's what you need to do. It'll bring warmth into you. It makes you feel lighter. It can ease the pain. And as you do the healing, anything that's negative starts to move away. It helps if you rub your hands together too. So rubbing your hands together, then drawing the symbol, and the energies flow. I've got a course on my website teaching you how to do this if you're interested. There's some more symbols I'm going to share now for healing anything that's broken. It doesn't have to be a leg. Just draw this symbol again 3 times over the fracture. This is one that's useful for anybody with digestive problems. You use 2 hands and you sweep up, and then you bring the energies down. So sweep, sweep, sweep up, and then down. Sweep, sweep up over the body. I've cleared people, it sounds a bit, but people have had bad constipation, do this and it clears it. And it's also good for any digestive problem. Pain release. When I'm doing distance healing, I use this a lot where I know people have got pain, and they've reported back that the pain has got less. Use this symbol to throw the pain out as many times as you need. When you've got your migraines, just use your fingers as like a comb, and just sweep up and around your head, away from your head, and push them away. And then you can use this symbol too, just to release the pain. This is a symbol for clearing shock. And this can be wherever you've had a physical shock or a bang. I banged with my hand in I can see the leftovers of the scar. I actually got thin skin. That's interesting, isn't it? So the thin skin, if I bang it, it just bursts and bleeds all over the place. I walked into a door walked into me. It's one of those automatic doors. And I used this symbol on it to take the bruising and the shock out. You do it anti-clockwise because you're taking something out, and then you put your finger in the center. So it really works very well. Anti-clockwise. Okay. There are loads more symbols for healing in my book, How to Heal, which is this one here. I just it's full of symbols and things to do for healing, all of which you can do for yourself. But find the sort of healing that works for you. You know, we've touched on a lot of things here tonight. All of it, anything can be healed. We are limiting ourselves most of the time what we think we can heal. I use that healing symbol on myself as a big symbol that sits on me when I want to heal myself. Always ask yourself, what is happening? What is my body telling me? What can I change the way I think? What can I change in my lifestyle? What can I change about myself to change the physical problems I've got?
I have your 2 books, Anne, and the symbol cards as well.
Oh yes, that's right. Thank you, Christina.
I'm using those. Very good.
Thank
They
you.
seem to work well.
Good. Thank you. Thank you. Has anybody? Thank you, Christina. Has anybody got any questions? No. Got lots of work to do.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you so much, Anne. It was such a pleasure.
Thank you, Christina. Thank you all for being here tonight.
And I'd like to say thank you. Thank you to Anne. Thank you. Especially reminding us, especially that we got so much more abundance of energy for the healing. Healing can,
Yes.
rather than it just being old, woe is me and this is how it is and whoa, whinge, and all that stuff. So it's good to get the vibrations up.
Yeah, I realise,
yeah.
Bless you, realise there's a reason for everything.
Yes, there is, yeah. Thank you so much, Anne. It was amazing.
Bless you, Christine. Thank you, everybody. Bye, Bye, Anne.
Anne.
Bye,
Bye, everyone.
See you again soon. Bye-bye.